Oh, you want to see an original Lee Reynolds painting? Everybody knows Lee Reynolds. He has the Vanguard studio. Now, most of those Lee Reynolds paintings you see, most of those Lee Reynolds paintings you buy for $200 at the furniture store, or now $500, they're not actually painted by Lee Reynolds. They're painted by Vanguard studio artists. Even back in the day, even back in the 1960s, 70s, mostly done by the Vanguard studio artists. Now here you're looking at one by Lee Reynolds himself. The old country house out in the middle of nowhere. Look at that. Oil painting. All oil painting. Now I'm not going to be able to get a good picture of the signature, but that is the Lee Reynolds signature. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to get it in focus too well, but you're not here to look at the signature. You're here to look at his original design. A country house out in the middle of nowhere with a pond, and it's a farmhouse. And every farm has a little pond, and there's the little boat by the pond. That's an original oil painting by Lee Reynolds. I thought you'd enjoy that. Well, just in case you'd like to know what Lee Reynolds Burr looks like, that's his full name, Lee Reynolds Burr. He actually sold the Vanguard studio. He sold it in 1974. So most of those paintings you see out there, those thousands and thousands of Lee Reynolds paintings that were painted in the 60s, 70s, you have to remember they were not painted by this man, Lee Reynolds Burr. He was just the master of the studio. He had studio artists painting them. He would actually go to Europe and buy original masterpieces. He would hang out with guys like Salvador Dali and all the great ones. He would go to Europe. He would buy these beautiful paintings because he's a collector. He's an art collector today. And he would then come back and he would tell the artists in the Vanguard studio, hey, reproduce this. We're going to mass produce this for Americans. And that's what they did. It was probably no more paintings have ever been painted with one man's name on it than the Lee Reynolds paintings. I think they say there's close to maybe, I don't know, possibly 500,000 paintings out there with Lee Reynolds' signature on it. And in actuality, he may have only painted, supposedly, 350 paintings. So he's probably not painted more than 400 originals himself. So those are very, very hard to find, the originals. If you can find an original, it's worth a lot more than the ones that were mass-produced by the Vanguard studio artists. Now, it's a very, very clever story because back in the 1960s, nobody even thought about doing this. Nobody thought about mass-producing beautiful paintings for the masses. He did it. And he supposedly just came back lately, and he's been painting again after a 20-year hiatus. I guess he took 20 years off, and he's back and painting again. So, you have to have the urge. And this is a great story. Great story about a great businessman and a great artist, connoisseur of fine art. I hope you enjoyed the painting.